Hi everybody and welcome to the box model. Let's begin. Okay, let's see. Okay, no tasks here. Let's see. Take some time to explore the code to the right. See if you can figure out how these following CSS properties impact how an element is displayed. Yes, you guys can do that yourselves. You don't need me for that. So I'll just continue. And of course, we are going to learn all about these properties during the lessons, so no worries here. But again, just play around with them yourselves. And now just continue. Okay, so no tasks here either. Take a look at the image on the right, a visual representation of the box model. Okay, you can open the box model image in a new tab to reference it as you move through the lesson. Okay, so you guys do that, and now just continue. Okay, let's see what we need to do here. So add a height of 700 pixels to banner. Okay, so let's find the banner ID selector, which we can actually see right here. Perfect. Okay, so let's add a height of 700 pixels. So we type in height and then 700 pixels. And of course, if you're not sure what we're changing, or actually, I'm pretty sure that you know what we're changing right now because of the ID selector here. It says banner, so obviously we are going to change the height of the banner that we see right here. Of course, if you're not sure, just make sure to look at the index.html file and find the element with the ID of banner, which is right here, the div element that we see right here, right? So, and of course, we have some other elements nested inside, but we'll get to that later. So yeah, so what we're changing is the banner right here, the div element, right? With the ID of banner. Okay, so let's just click on run and see the changes. There you go. Perfect. And now set pull quote width to 350 pixels. Okay. So again, let's see. Take a look inside the index.html file and find the class pull quote to see what we're actually changing, right? Okay. So here we have it. So what we're going to change is, let's find it on the page here. So this is what we're changing right here, right? The whole div element, which has this h2 element nested inside, right, with the text, right? So yeah, so let's make the changes. So let's go back inside the style.css file. And let's see, find the pull quote class selector. Let's see, there it is. Okay, and now let's set it to a width of 350 pixels. So we type in width like this, and then 350 pixels. And now I'll just click on run. And let's see, and there you go, right? You see the changes. So let's continue. Set the h1 heading, which is nested inside the element with the class content and the ID banner to a width of 400 pixels. Okay, so again, we're changing the h1 element. Or we're giving it a width of 400 pixels. And which h1 element? Well, the h1 element, which is nested again inside the element with the class of content, which again is nested inside the element with the ID banner, right? Which is right here, right? So this is what we are making changes to, right? Okay, so let's do that. And of course, we can see it here in a browser. So this is what we're making changes to, right? So yeah, so let's do that. So let's go to style.css, the style.css file, and find the selector, the right selector, which is supposed to be down here someplace. Let's see, or maybe up here. Let's see. Oh, there it is, perfect. Okay, so we go down here on line 36 and just type width like this, and then we type 400 pixels like this. Okay, and we click on run, and there you go. Right, perfect. Okay, so let's continue to the next part of the lesson. Okay, let's see what we need to do here. So add a dotted red border with 1 pixel thickness to all H2 headings. Okay, let's see how many we have inside the index.html file. I think it's only 1, but let's just double check, right? So let's see, H2, let's see. Here we have 1. And let's see if we have more. No, we don't. Okay, so what we are changing, if we take a look inside the browser right here on our page, this is what we're going to change, right? This is what we're going to give a border, a red dotted border with 1 pixel thickness, right? So let's do that. So let's go back inside the style.css file and find the H2 selector. There it is. And now let's just type border and then 1 pixel, which is going to be dotted and red, right? So this is our border right here. So let's click on run and see if the border shows up around the H2 element. Yes, it does. Perfect. Okay, and now add a solid white border with a 3 pixel width to the H1 heading. All right, so this is what we're changing right now. This is what we're going to give a border to, right? So let's find the right rule set. Let's see. Let's see if we find it there it is, of course. Here we go. We are right here. So on line 37, we are going to type border and then 3 pixels, and then the border is going to be solid and white, right? So there you go. And now let's click on run and see what happens. There you go. So now we have a solid white border, which is 3 pixels thick around the H1 heading, right? Perfect. Okay, so let's continue. Okay, let's see what we need to do here. In style.css, set the border radius of the H1 element to 15 pixels. Okay, so let's do that. Let's find the right rule set. There you go. And now on line 38, we are just going to type border radius, and we are going to set it to 15 pixels like this. And when I click on run, the corners of the border right here are going to be rounded, right? So all of the corners right here will be rounded, right? So let's click on run and see if that's the case. Yes, it is. There you go, right? Perfect. Okay, so let's continue. Okay, let's see what we need to do here. Let's see. In a single line, set the list item elements to have 20 pixels of padding. And which list item elements? The list item elements nested inside the nav element, which has the class navigation, right? If you're not sure, just go inside the index.html file and take a quick look and see that for yourselves, and we can see it right here, right? So here is the nav element with the class navigation, and inside it we have the list item elements that we are going to make changes to right now, which again we can see right here on our page, right? Okay, so let's go back inside the style.css file and make the changes to the list item elements inside the navigation element. So we go on line 15 and just type padding, because this is what we're making changes to, right? The padding of the list item elements. And we type 20 pixels. And when I click on run, keep an eye on the list item elements on the page here and see if something happens. Yep, you see that all of them are now spaced out, right? Because we gave all of them a padding of 20 pixels. Okay. So yeah, so let's see what's next. Look at the red boxes at the bottom of the web page. Okay, let's see. Yep, set the anchor elements to have 14 pixels of padding in style.css and run your code. Observe how the red boxes at the bottom of the page changed. Okay, so we are changing the links right here, right, which are nested inside, again, an element with the class of share, which we can find right here, right? So let's see, there you go. So we have a div element with a class of share, and inside it we have the anchor elements, or the links that we are making changes to. Okay, so again, let's go inside the style.css file and do what we're asked to do. So we go down here at the bottom. Let's see, there it is. There is the rule set that we're looking for, and we type padding, which is going to be, let's see, 14 pixels. Yes, okay, so 14 pixels like this, and we click on run. And now let's go at the bottom here and see if something happened. Yes, look at that. Perfect. Okay, so let's move on. Set the top and bottom padding of H2 elements, the H2 elements to 20 pixels, and set the left and right padding of the H2 elements to 30 pixels. Now we have only one H2 heading here, which is the one that we see right here, right? Or H2 elements, right? So it's this quote right here. Again, if you're not sure, just go inside the index.html file and you can see that for yourselves, right? So there you go. So this is what we are making changes to right now. So yeah, so let's do that. So let's go down here on line, let's see where the right rule set is. There it is. So there we go. So on line 60, we are going to type padding, and then hyphen and top to begin with, oops, which is going to be 20 pixels. Then we type padding hyphen bottom, which is going to be 20 pixels. Then we are typing padding hyphen left, which is going to be 30 pixels. And finally, padding hyphen right, which is going to be 30 pixels, like this. And now let's click on run and see what happens. And there you go. Perfect. So now we have the H2 element with a top and bottom padding of 20 pixels and left and right padding of 30 pixels, right? So let's just continue. Okay, let's see. Change the individual padding declarations on the H2 selector rule set to use padding shorthand with 2 values. Keep the padding for the top and bottom at 20 pixels and the value for the left and right padding at 30 pixels. Okay, so let's first find the H2 selector. So there you go. And now I'll just delete all of that like this. Oops, not that much, but right here like this. And we are going to type 20 pixels and then 30 pixels. That's it, right? So the H2 element that we have right here, the quote, the padding is going to remain the same, you know. So we're not going to see any changes. So let's click on run. And there you go, and we can take a look at it, right? And it's the same thing, right? No changes happen. We just wrote the line of code in, with 2 values instead of 4, right? So if you read the explanation right here, you know what I mean. So actually, I don't need to explain anything here, but just in case you haven't read it, make sure to read everything before you watch me complete the tasks, so you understand more of what I'm doing. So let's see what's next. Using 2 values for the padding property, set the padding of the paragraph element to 10 pixels on the top and bottom and 20 pixels on the left and right. Okay, so we need to find the paragraph selector, which we have right here. And let's see how many paragraphs we have, by the way. So let's see, we have 1, 2, 3, and 4. Yeah, so we have 4 paragraph elements, right? So basically all of the text here that you see with the gray color, right? The gray color text, these are our 4 paragraphs that we are about to make some changes to, right? Or the padding of these paragraph elements. So let's do that. So let's find the paragraph selector once again, which we have right here. And what we need to do now is just type padding and then 10 pixels and then 20 pixels, right? There you go. And now let's click on run and see the changes happen in the browser, of course. And there you go. Perfect. Okay, let's continue. Okay, let's see what's next. Set the top margin of the paragraph elements to 60 pixels. Okay, so let's find the paragraph selector. There you go. And what we need to type here is just margin top, which is going to be 60 pixels. Like this. And before we click on run, let's look at our paragraphs right here. Okay, see how they look now. And then we'll take a look at how they look with the margin of the top margin of 60 pixels. So let's click on run and see how that will look. And there you go. All right. Perfect. Okay, so let's see what's next. Look at the 3 red boxes at the bottom of the web page. All right, the links right here. These elements are anchor elements of class share. Set these anchor elements to have a margin of 10 pixels. Okay, so let's find the right rule set, which is right here. And on line 105, we are just going to type margin margin, and then 10 pixels like this. And we click on run. And let's scroll down and see the changes. Perfect, there you go. All right, let's continue. Okay, let's see what we need to do here. Using two values, set the H2 element top and bottom margins to 30 pixels and the left and right margins to 20 pixels. Okay, so again, we are making changes to the H2 element right here. So let's find the right selector and do what we're asked to do, right? So on line 61, we are going to type margin and then 30 pixels and then 20 pixels, right? There you go. And now let's click on run and see what happens, all right? And we can see that the margins have now changed, right? So yeah, so let's continue. Okay, let's see what's next. Set the width of the pull quote class elements to 350 pixels. Okay, so let's see. Let's find the pull quote class selector, which we have right here. And by the way, the element that has the class pull quote is the div element, which has the H2 element nested inside, right? Which you can see right here. But you probably remember that. And we can see that on a page also, right? So yeah, so let's make the changes. So let's find the pull quote class selector once again. Let's see, there it is. And we type width, and then we type 350 pixels like this, okay? And we click on run. Perfect. And now in one line, set the vertical margins of the pull quote class to 0 and the horizontal margins to auto. Okay, so we type margin like this, and then 0, and then auto like this, and we click on run. Perfect. And now set the vertical margins of the main element to 0 and the horizontal margins to auto. Okay, and what element has the ID main? Well, is the div element, which contains all of the elements from, well, I can show you in the page right here. It's much better. So all of the elements right here from the H3 heading right here, all of this that you see right here down to here, not including the anchor elements, is, all of these elements are nested inside the div element with the ID of main that we see right here, right? But yeah, you can see that for yourselves when you go inside the index.html file. If you're not sure what is, I've mentioned that a couple of times before, but always, if you're not sure what you're styling, just, look through your HTML code, right? Before you apply any styles and so on and so on, just to make sure. So yeah, let's just make the changes. So let's find the main ID selector first. There you go. And you know what, before we make the changes, let's take a look at how things look right now. So we have all of the elements here on the left side of the page, right? Which are nested inside the div element with the ID of main. And now when we add the line of code they're asking us to do, we are going to see if something happens, which I'm guessing it will. So let's type in margin right here on line 45, and then type in 0 and auto. And now let's click on run, and then expand the page and see if something happened. I'm guessing it did. Let's see. Yes, it did. So now everything is at the center of the page, right? So yeah, so all of the elements nested inside the div element with the ID of main are now, as I said, at the center of our page. Perfect. Okay, so let's continue. Or let's see if there was anything else here. No, nothing else. So let's continue to the next part of the lesson. Okay, let's see what we need to do here. Okay, so there are no tasks here. So yeah, study the graphic display to the right. You guys can do that yourselves. And now just continue to the next part of the lesson. Okay, let's see what's next. In style.css, set the minimum width of the paragraph elements to 200 pixels. Okay, so let's find the paragraph selector and make the changes to all of the paragraphs right here, by the way, right? So we have 1, 2, 3, and 4 paragraph elements. Yes. Okay, so yeah, so let's just type minimum width, which is going to be 200 pixels. And we click on run. And then next, set the maximum width of the paragraph elements to 800 pixels. Okay, so max width is 800 pixels. Let me run. And next, and by the way, of course, you guys, when you type this in, just make sure to, just play around with, with the pages, expand it a little bit and see the changes happening. Okay. So yeah, you don't always need me for that. So you can, see that for yourselves. So yeah, so let's just continue. So in style.css, set the minimum height of the paragraph element to 200 pixels. Okay, so what we need to do here is just type minimum height is going to be 200 pixels like this, and we run. And finally, in style.css, set the maximum height of the paragraph elements to 300 pixels. Okay, so max height is 300 pixels like this. Okay, perfect. And now we have, we've made all of the changes to the all of the paragraph elements. So as I said, we have to, you just play around a little bit, and with each task, just expand the browser a little bit and see the changes happening. And by the way, right here, as they say, or as they mention here, after you've done this successfully, resize the browser and notice how the height of paragraphs, paragraphs box will no longer expand beyond 300 pixels. You should see your text overflowing. Yes, we are. In the next exercise, we will fix that, right? So we can see the overflowing happening right here already, right? So yeah, so let's move to the next part of the lesson and fix that. Okay, let's see. In order to see the impact of the overflow property with the value scroll, first change the height of the main element to 1000 pixels. Okay, no problem. And you guys probably remember what element has the ID main. And if you don't, again, just take a look at the index.html file. But yeah, I'm sure that you remember that is the div element that contains all of the elements here. Everything that you see on a page from the H3 heading right here all the way down here, except the anchor elements, right? So all of these elements are nested inside the div element with the ID main that we are making changes to right now. Okay, so let's type in height and then 1000 pixels, and we click on run. And if we take a look at the page, we can see that, something went wrong, right? So things are overflowing, right? So yeah, so let's see if we can fix that. So set the overflow of the main element to scroll. So yeah, when you scroll down, a second scroll bar should appear over the paragraph section. You may have to expand the browser component in order to see this behavior clearly. Okay, so let's type in overflow first, like this. Let's see, overflow, and then scroll like this, and then we click on run. Okay, let's expand the browser a little bit. And there you go. Perfect. Very good. Okay, so let's move on to the next part of the lesson. Okay, let's see. In style.css, reset the default margin and padding values for the body. Okay, so we go right here and we type margin. We set it to 0, and then padding, which we also set to 0, like this, and we click on run. And there you go. Perfect. Yeah, and what happens to the web page in a browser? Well, you know, all of the elements inside the body, which are inside the body elements, all of the, you know, we basically, as they mentioned in the lesson, we reset the default margin and padding values of you know, these elements, right? The elements inside the body elements. Okay. So yeah, so let's continue. Okay, let's see. Take a look at the list items in index.html. Notice that the list item donate has a class of donates. Okay, let's take a look. Yes, that is correct. In style.css, add a class selector rule set for donate. Set the visibility to hidden. Okay, so let's do that. And we can just do it right here. Okay, so we can just type donate like this, and then we need the curly braces, and then we type in visibility. Let's see, which is going to be hidden, right? Like this. And now take a look at the list item donate right here. See what happens. I guess you know what happens, but yeah. let's see if it disappears. Yes, it did. Perfect. So it's yeah, it worked. Perfect. Okay, so let's continue. And it looks like we are done with this lesson. Yep, so if you guys enjoyed the video and found it helpful, I would really appreciate it if you gave the video a thumbs up. And of course, make sure to subscribe to the channel for more videos on Codecademy. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll talk to you next time.